All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Robert Smirking Gun Reviews, and we are back for more Maniac. We are doing episode 5, so full spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the episode. This one, okay, so what we know right off the bat is there was no carryover from the last episode. So in the scene where Jonah Hill, his character, is arrested, that's it. They jump right into the next fantasy while they're taking the B pill. And that is this, he's this guy named Ali. He's going to a seance where he runs into her on the side of the road. Her name is Arlie. We learn that she's his estranged wife in this fantasy. I love the kind of film noir 1940s kind of feel to this. It's not like dark. And it should have maybe been in black and white or something to be a little more film noir. But they go to this place where everybody is basically a con man, and they're all trying to get their hands on Don Quixote's missing chapter 53. I tried to look up the importance of that chapter, but I really couldn't find anything solid. But it is explained a little bit later why people are trying to get something from Don Quixote. And she's been trying to read Don Quixote. Don Quixote is about, the guy in it is delusional. So, and lives in kind of a fantasy world. So it fits with, the show quite a bit. On the outside, they keep Mantle and, I want to say her name is Frigida now. I keep forgetting. I don't have my tablet on me. They're trying to separate Owen and Annie because their patterns keep connecting. The computer keeps putting them together and whenever they try to separate, they come back together again. Also, the GRTA, Greta, puts itself into the fantasy. And that fantasy's physical shape is Sally Field's character. I looked it up. Her name is Greta Mantle and Dr. Mantle. So I wonder if this is based on his mother possibly, or maybe some sort of consciousness of his mother is the computer. I don't know. But they do find, a problem inside the computer, and they're trying to work on it, but they're not going to do anything about it because they feel that the doctor who died was a little too cautious, and they're just going to try to monitor it and not, hopefully nothing bad happens, and they can try to work on it from the outside. While she, Frigida, keeps trying to separate them, and it physically, in the fantasy, she keeps disappearing, and it's one of those comments that Owen's version of himself in this Ollie keeps mentioning to her, you were always disappearing, you take off at the wrong time. Always betraying, and it's very film noir-esque because you got the pretty dame and the dress, and the guy who's good at his job, but the dame is like his Achilles heel, and he'll do anything for her, and she inevitably betrays him all the time. And even when she says, I'll never betray you again, you're just waiting for the inevitable betrayal. It's very much follows that pattern of those type of old movies. So it's done all that. I'm not going to break down every scene in it. The little dancing scene with the dead man, the dead doctor, was pretty funny. That whole thing with the dead doctor where he's just kind of walking around like, ugh. It's pretty great. And the computer talking to them saying, we try to keep, it's hard to keep the ones that we love close by and stuff. So the computer is still holding on to its feelings for the doctor. We also get to see that Owen's delusion has followed him into the B pill fantasy, saying that he was actually his brother had a twin in the womb, and his brother Jed strangled him in the womb, and that explains why he is like a ghost, or trying to explain to Owen his delusion's presence, the ectoplasm coming out of his mouth. Again, I still think that it's just a schizophrenic type thing. I don't think that he's actually seeing a ghost of his brother or his brother's dead twin. that was killed in utero. I do like that whenever they try to separate the two of them, she's like not pulled out of the program or the pill fantasy, but that and you don't know if it's Arlie or Annie being pulled out, but she's seeing like her sister, and then later on her and her sister as kids, and I do like that they do kind of confirm that her mother is not dead. Well, at least she doesn't know if she's dead, and that what happened was she did leave. She wasn't killed or anything, and this keeps happening where she'll disappear from the fantasy and show up later on. They end up getting the chapter out. She pulls a gun on him. He does a little switcheroo on her. And then she ends up pulled out again, where she sees like this like diorama that has the car of her sister, that was her sister and then the lights on the car turn on, and that's Dr. Mandelray waking her up, pulling her out. Now this is the best scene, like this part right here, explaining, like they have to question her, the data that they have, and she needs to be honest about what's going on in her part of this. That if it goes below 9.2 by the end, she is out of the program. And in this little test with her and Mandelray, we get some real honest answers from Annie. We get to see, we know that the tremendous guilt she feels about her sister. That's the whole reason in the fantasy, like she wants this chapter of the book, because in the fantasy you get the book, you can live in a fantasy world for the rest of your life, kind of like what she was doing with the pill A, where she was constantly trying to stay with those memories of her sister. Like she said, she knows that her sister dies in those memories, but she gets to see her, she gets to be with her. So he inevitably switches it on her and gives it back to Greta, who he now reveals he's kind of like doing like an Inception thing, like where it's her security thing. I mean, I know it's not a dream within a dream type of thing, but it made me think of Inception. And also, again, this episode made me think a lot of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, with the whole like the realities and the way it was filmed, and this kind of very dreamlike, and the way that they're connected. Every time you try to separate them, they keep trying to come back together again, just like in that movie. With the whole thing with security, he tells her, your security's not working, and she tells him that the chapter wouldn't have worked if he had gotten it. And that's about it for that part. But when we get more of the conversation with Dr. Mandelray and Annie, where you see little lies, like her score's barely going up through each question until she gets to like the connection between her and Owen. There's little lies in there. Like the first time her numbers start to go down for a second is when she talks about how she didn't want kids or a family or a husband or anything like that. All of a sudden her numbers go down a minute. But when they talk about the connection, it jumps up. And she starts talking about like how when they met, she was just telling him what he wanted to hear, that he said that there was a pattern, and that maybe that's why they keep coming together. As he said, there's a pattern and everything, and there's a connection between us, and that's why we keep coming together. And then we start to get to more like the heart of the things, where she realizes that she's kind of like becoming her mother. Some of the characteristics, like when they talk about like, is your mother, dead? And she's like, I don't know. And again, her numbers kind of dipped again. And that was kind of weird. But then when she starts being really honest about, that she had a goal, and that becoming her mother is like this pretty bad fear. I also like, I was trying to figure out if the safe had something to do with the actual safe that her dad had, that she kind of stole. Like when he was talking about the thief part, like maybe she felt like the thief part of her is when she took the money from her dad's safe. Now I know she asked if she could borrow some, but I think she pretty much just took everything. Also, there was the gun in the safe, and then she has a gun in the fantasy. I don't know if that's a leap, or if it has any kind of connection, but it just seems like little details like that would be something that they would kind of throw in here. I'm not 100% on that. But going forward now, they're all coming out of the B pill. And it's going to be interesting going on. This one was kind of hard to wrap my head around for a good portion of it. And I'm a pretty clever guy. I'm usually able to figure things out pretty quickly. But a lot of this was very, not over my head. It's just, I think I was feeling a little, what's the word? Like, I was thinking that maybe this episode was trying to be smarter than it is, and that I was giving it too much credit. There is a lot going on in this. There's a lot of subtext because yeah, she does get, when she gets her data back from Maniac, and it does say she, borderline personality. So we'll see what's going on with that. The next few episodes, they're like 20 minutes, 20 some odd minutes long. Even the finale, the last episode's only like 40 minutes long. So it's kind of weird. But I also like that they just put enough of what they want into each episode. If he wanted to make an hour-long episode, I'm sure that there would be just enough content in that episode too. So hopefully I've covered enough of this. It is a really good episode. It is kind of like, it hurt my brain a little, but that's a good thing. I'm glad that it's challenging me. I hope it's challenging everybody else. I hope it's not just like, in my own fears would be that everybody else knows exactly what's going on completely, because a lot of this is kind of questioning reality. What is real? Was it Annie or Arlie outside, when they were disconnecting them? Because she was in the dress that Arlie had. Why wouldn't she, if it was Annie, why wasn't it in Annie's clothes? Why was it in Arlie's clothes? I don't know. I don't want to go too far into it. I'll leave it for the comment section if anybody wants to leave a comment. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Hit the bell for all notifications on all these videos. Again, I'm pointing at the bell that's not there. So yeah, we will be doing episodes at least probably 6 and 7, possibly even 8 tomorrow. Yeah, so this is Rob at Smirking Gun Review saying I appreciate everybody that watches this video. I really would like to hear some comments on what you guys think of it. Thanks for any new subscribers that have started because of watching these videos. Go ahead and check out any of my other stuff. We got a lot of cool things on the channel. And yeah, that's about it. So have a great night, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.